Okay. Witam wszystko. Good day. It is kind of late afternoon. Past 1600 hours. On a Sunday. March 9th. Is it March 9th or March 8th? March 8th, 2020. In the lunar cycle, beat that, geet some, the eagle moon. And I'm here for a last stroll, for the day at least, if not for the next couple of weeks, around Spopikami. Chels and I are beginning our journey to Costa Rica tomorrow. And for most of the current round, I've just been on the run. I had to do my Sunday morning walk and talk as usual, and then my online language class. And then I had other things associated with preparing for our departure. I needed to meet with the young lady who's going to be staying at our place and looking after my animals. I wanted to install a shelf system under our big window in the dining room because I figured that would be a great place to put all of my plants from the studio and the house, give them some sunshine while I'm gone, and hopefully they'll be adequately looked after along with everything else. What else? What else did I run around doing? Oh, I was looking for backpackers pillows. We just thought, well, we're gonna go through kind of an ordeal to get there. We have to we're driving to Calgary tomorrow afternoon, and then pitching camp in a hotel. It's probably going to be our most expensive night of the whole trip, of course, and it's a fairly inexpensive hotel for here. But anyway, camping at a hotel because we need to wake up really, really early. Our flight leaves at 6, and for international flights, you're supposed to check in 2 hours beforehand, which gives us about a 3 a.m. wake up. So we're hoping to get to Calgary about 4:30. I have an appointment. I have some people coming to the hotel from Mount Royal University to interview me on some research project that they're doing. And then once that's done, I can't imagine it'd run past 7 o'clock or so. We're going to eat, probably use some kind of sleep aid and knock ourselves out, hopefully, so that we can wake up with at least some rest at 3 a.m. Make our way to the airport, get on the first flight to Denver. We got a brief stay in Denver, then hop down to Houston, and then we have a brief stay in Houston, and then we fly to San Jose. But all in all, it's going to be a very long day because we don't arrive in San Jose until something around 9 p.m. and on the 10th. So we'll have been, more than 24 hours for some reason, or maybe not 24 hours, but maybe more than 12 hours, bumping around in airports and stuff. So long day. So we thought, let's get some pillows, but let's get something that we can apply toward, other things than just this getting on airplanes. Or why don't we get like a backpacker's pillow or something? So I went to a shop here called Atmosphere in Lethbridge, where they sell camping supplies, serious hiking and outdoor supplies. And I checked out their backpackers pillows. Man, it's basically a fancy balloon. It's a blow it up by mouth kind of a thing, and they're wanting $50 for this piece of rubberized, whatever. Wasn't gonna pay that. I'll spend that $50 in Costa Rica on something else. So, or the 100 for the two of us. So instead, went to Dollarama, grabbed a couple of regular travel pillow things for $3.50 each. And yeah, I don't think I have much more to do other than pack my bag. Oh, I have to meet with my skunk substitute, my small mammal substitute, tomorrow morning. I'm taking him for a little ride along to check the traps, show him what's up, and transfer him some supplies to take over for me, keep my clients' jobs going while I'm gone. But then that's it. Then I'm out of here. So whether I'll be able to stop at Spopikami or I'll find the time to do so tomorrow or not, I'm not sure, but I figured I'd get out here for a stroll this afternoon. And I have something very interesting, an experience that went down yesterday that I wanted to just lay out on the record. So most of you guys understand by now, there's hardly a dull moment in my life. Always something unexpected is cropping up. And yesterday, it arrived at my doorstep in the form of 2 government investigators and a police escort. I was home with the kids. Chels was off working her 12-hour shift, and I was just sitting around in pajamas, typing in my reports for the end of the project. And we had just finished having like a big breakfast with eggs and pancakes and bacon and stuff. And then there's a knock on the door. So I look out, I see people there, and I think they must be salespeople, the way that they're dressed, or maybe salespeople, or maybe some kind of religious folks or something. So I step out, but then when I step out, then I realize, well, they're with a police officer. Something else is up. And they tell me that they are from Child Protection Services or something. I can't remember I think it's Child Protection Services. And that they like to come in and talk to me for a few minutes. So I'm like, all right. So come on in. So the 3 of them came in. The police escort went downstairs with the kids. Like, the kids were, of course, at the door wondering what the heck's going on. So I told them to go play downstairs, and the policeman went down with them. And then the 2 investigators came with me into the dining room, sat down at the table, and they asked me if I knew what they were there for. And I said no. And they said, would you like us to tell you? Yeah. And so they said, the bruise on Cody's cheek. Now, Cody has a little, I'm sure you've seen it in my videos in the last few days, but Wednesday evening, she developed a little bruise under her eye. Kind of a purple bruise. And the story behind it remains unexplained. But she hadn't had the bruise, to my knowledge, when I dropped her off at school that morning. I hadn't noticed it. And even when I picked her up from school, I didn't notice it. Although it may have been there, or may not have been. But we went home. I think we might have stopped somewhere along the way, grocery store or something, but we went home. And so we were taking off jackets and shoes and stuff in the stairwell when I noticed the bruise. And so I asked her, where'd you get the black eye? And she's like, what? her expression was she had no idea what I was talking about. So I lifted her up and held her up in our mirror, on our front walkway there. Held her up to the big mirror so she could look at her face, and she saw the bruise, and she was completely surprised. She had no idea that she had been bruised or injured or anything, from my read of her body language and stuff and what she said, which was, like shoulder shrug. I don't know, So anyway, I didn't think much of it, but I did message a photo to Chels because I know she would want to know that Cody came home bruised or whatever. And then she said, well, she'll ask the daycare about it, and I told her, well, really not too concerned about it. She seemed surprised to learn she even had it. And so I had that message stream in my phone. And that's all we thought about it. Well, the daycare asked Chelsea about it, I guess, and she sat down with them and talked to them and told them, what she knew about it, which was really nothing. And that Cody didn't have an explanation. So anyway, somewhere along the lines, and I the investigators really didn't tell me who initiated this investigation, but I'm pretty sure it's somebody at the daycare. And whatever, they didn't I don't know if they have actually a formal protocol where if there's something like a case with a unexplained bruise or something, that they would involve Child Protection Services. One of the investigators did say something like Cody reported to someone that she wasn't supposed to talk about it, which I have no idea what Cody might have said to anybody, but she's a sharp little girl, and she could definitely play this one for some sympathy if she wanted to somebody, but I don't know what all of that is about. All I know is that someone called this investigation on, and it was, although the investigators and the police were very pleasant, and they recognized me from my work with the city and the YouTube and channel and such, they were very pleasant with me, talked with me about my upcoming travels, and talked with me about some of the wildlife work I'm currently doing, and but they were investigating, and ultimately they were asking me about what happened with Cody, and then they were talking to Cody about what happened with Cody. And there were just little things that kind of like bugged me a little bit, like when they came in, they couldn't help but notice our house smelled like the food, and they said, oh, it smells good in here. Yeah, we just had a big brunch. But I know that Child Protection Services folks, when they go to check out where kids live, they look at what are they being fed and where are they sleeping and stuff. They took note of my bunk bed. The two investigators kind of talked about, oh, did you build that? Yeah, I built that. Oh, look at that. You should check out that bunk bed. And if they come into the house with a police escort like that, does that mean that they're prepared to take kids away? Because that's the threat implied, at least. But whether that was anything like they thought might be a reality today, what if I wasn't there and Chelsea was there? There is a part of me that thinks that, okay, well, whoever at the daycare initiated this, what's going on with them? Is this just their regular protocol that they standardly practice with every kid that has a bruise or something, that they don't explain? Or is there some biases and stuff at play, and so, to make, it's not unusual in Lethbridge for native families to be a little bit more surveilled when they go into retail spaces, when they're looking at renting, housing, any of these kind of things, and perhaps at daycares. I don't know. I've never experienced this before, but it was quite something. It was very interesting. I didn't know exactly what to think, or whether to be upset, whether to be, and I'm still not, because I really don't have all the answers of what happened, but I know that they came in and talked to me at some length. They talked to Cody at some length. They looked around our house. They showed up unexpected on a Saturday. Unexpected and unannounced. And, as soon as they walked out, the first thing the kids were saying was that police had a gun, a real gun. You don't think the kids are going to remember this? The day that the police showed up at their house with, because I know when I was growing up, there was very few occasions when police ever came to the house, but when they did come, and it was, for whatever, maybe we had something to report. Those visits were things out of the ordinary that stuck in my memory, and I made of them what they would. But we didn't call these police. They just showed up at our house, and they showed up to look at why a little kid get a bruise on like a black eye, and it's not even a big one. In fact, sitting and talking with the investigators, because we were trying to think, like, what happened, because the daycare didn't notice this bruise, and then when she got home, the bruise is there, and I've got documentation online of messaging that to Chels. How did that bruise appear so quickly without swelling and all that stuff? What I suspect is that perhaps while we were in the vehicle driving home, her little brother sucked on her face. Really, that's what I kind of suspect happened. So her little brother gave her a big kiss, with maybe there's some bite involved, I don't know. That's my suspicion now, to explain what the heck. But whatever happened, like, it's just a kid that's rough and tumble and has two brothers, and it's silly, and not quite sure what to do with that, like, in terms of my social relations, because it's weird when somebody calls authorities on you, for something they suspect you of that's not even remotely true, right? It's weird. And so do we keep the kids at that daycare? If they do this regularly, I can't imagine they keep a lot of clients. I'm pretty easygoing, and we're considering. It's just that daycare is very good, and it's a good daycare and very convenient. But wow, what if the kids got taken away for one of them having an unexplained bruise? And is this the end of that investigation after they've talked with me? What, quite something. Anyway, they know that we're headed to Costa Rica, and when we'll be back and stuff, and where the kids will be in the meantime, and what all the plans are. Hopefully the investigators are already comfortable with the obvious answers on this one, and the case is wrapped, but I have no idea. So more stress to kind of add to the challenge of going away. How do we go away? Chels and I, just just for a little bit. How do we get away? Not without obstacles, that's for sure. Whew. Like coming over to this lookout where the yucca live. Haven't done anything with the yucca fronds that I collected yet the other day. They're in the studio awaiting my return. I could go down to the canal. I got time. I got time to kill and there's daylight. Why not? Maybe we'll get lucky and run into the mink. Just walking along the canal now, surveying the recent progress of the beavers. Been working this tree. Starting to get a little bit chilly as we are now in the shadow of the coulee and will not come back out of it as we head towards sundown. And most of the canal up this way appears to be pretty iced over, so see how it is down by the beaver lodge. Well, right at the lodge entrance here is a little bit of open water. These beavers are pretty exposed in here. I mean, this water is low. Everything up past their dam is frozen. Deeper up that way. They got a hole in here even. This is probably a caved in beaver lodge right here. And then this is obviously where they got their food store for the current winter. So they must be in here. And I kind of suspect that there's one in here in this bank who's keeping that food store right there. So quite a little complex, but pretty low water. I would worry about coyotes getting in and visiting in the night. Not going to see any mink action over here for sure. So, but it's worth the walk just in case, just to see what's shaking over this way. Pretty interesting watching the ebbs and flow of the winter here and the way that these canals and stuff open up for periods and close back up, and you know what's going on in those times. All right, start heading back. Check out who I've spotted on the river shore. He's quite a ways from me. Just walking the trail along the cliffs here. See if maybe we can get a even closer angle on this guy. Just looks like he's hanging out on the ice, grooming and enjoying the evening. Probably not from that family up there who we were visiting. He must live down off that cut bank there next to where he's surfaced, I suspect. I haven't really checked there for lodges. Again, I'm gonna need to probably, once the river's totally open, make a little tour. Try to map all the beaver lodges along the river. Get some sense of the population we have and where they are in respect to waterworks, city waterworks of various kinds. Just turning his back to me, rubbing something. Let's get a different angle again. Oh, now he's turned around. Of course, zoom back out. Maybe because I started moving these. Zoom in. I don't know. Beavers don't have the greatest eyesight in my experience with them. They seem to have decent sniffers. Going into the river. Yeah, I bet his lodge is right there. Boom. Right in the cut bank. Here at North Pond, almost back to the parking area, and it's begun to snow. Hope there's not a lot of this coming considering the drive we make tomorrow, but at least we can take our time. No rush. Just have to get up there by maybe 4:30 check-in so that I can make my appointment for my interview. So we'll see whether we're back here at Spokane for a touch base at some point tomorrow or not. But my first thing in the morning is going to be taking the new skunk guy around, and then if I'm gonna come out here, I might come out here after that, but we'll see.